Charity and support are vital, but not at the expense of our community safety and quality of life, especially when the obvious solution is simply to relocate the facility to a more profitable place. Thank you very much.
Next, supporting revocation does not wish to speak is Susan Lowry. Kay Croft, I believe, against revocation and does wish to speak. Is there Kay Croft?
Yep. Good evening.
Good evening.
I've been a Taylor resident for 48 years, and I never would believe that I could have cameras and alarms. At 2, 3 in the morning, alarms and the camera, they're walking down the street, looking through the cars that are on the street. When I walk my dogs down Eureka, there is human poop everywhere. There is garbage and trash. There's homes there. All this stuff is littered. Something has to be done. They don't pick up after themselves. You walk, they want money from you, they'll follow you down the street. And it's getting to the point that you're going to have something done. Period. There's a height, there's the kids in the school, the play skates, there's poop around, there's play skates. I can't even take my grandkids there. So that's all I have to say.
So, Ms. Croft, on the sheet you showed you were against revocation. I'm going to move that over.
Well, I didn't have my glasses on.
That is okay, and also, I believe Mr. Croft put support revocation and then 2 dots in against revocation. So I take it that you were against, but not wishing to speak. Okay. Next, that supports revocation, does not wish to speak, is Roger Hodges. All right, that ends the sign-in sheet that we have. I'm going to go to the online. Before. What's that? Yeah, what I want to do first, I'm going to open it back up. So we did have 2 online. Okay, and you could, if you have not spoken yet, you can come up in a moment. But we want to make certain, as part of the Open Meetings Act, we need to provide an opportunity to those that fall under the Americans with Disabilities Act. And for those that cannot come here in person, we need to afford a time and opportunity to all residents to participate. So at this point in time, we're not ending the open public hearing. What we are going to do is turn it over to the clerk to read the questions that have come in online.
Mr. Chairman, the first comment I received reads, "Good afternoon. I am writing to express my concerns regarding the ChristNet Center on Eureka. My husband and I have lived in our house for 32 years. Our 2 children have grown up here, attended Taylor schools, and we have lived a safe and comfortable life. Before that, I lived off of North Line. I have lived in Taylor my entire life. Since ChristNet has opened, I no longer feel comfortable in my own neighborhood. Every day when I leave for work, I see trash, blankets, people pushing filled shopping carts everywhere along Eureka. One Friday, I was coming home from work and heading east on Eureka. In the middle turn lane was an elderly gentleman with his cart piled high, just wandering down the middle turn lane. Traffic is fast there. There are a lot of people making left-hand turns, and he could have easily been hit. I live directly across the street from the elementary school. I see adults with backpacks on kids' playground equipment. I have become accustomed to seeing the residents of the American House outside when the weather turned nice, walking with their walkers or being pushed in their wheelchair for some fresh air. I no longer see those people. Instead, we get to look at blankets and chairs set up next to the American House and people laying under the trees. It is so very sad that in such a short time our neighborhood has changed dramatically. We are seriously thinking of putting our home up for sale. I feel so let down that this was allowed to happen. The American House is housing for seniors, and it is right across the street, and the elementary school is a couple blocks away. I don't feel safe taking my grandson to the school playground any longer. Why weren't the residents looked out for? We were let down, and now we have to deal with it. The picture that I have attached is what I see when leaving for work pulling out onto Eureka from Vivian Street. So many times passing ChristNet, there are police and fire units there. Please do not renew the permit for ChristNet. Thank you for your consideration. Sincerely, Kimberly Sperling of Vivian Street. And I have a letter from American House as well.
Okay.
Open it up, please.
Did you know about that?
Is there a person? That's
American House was signed by Cassandra Lowe, and she is the Executive Director of American House.
okay.
This is addressed to Taylor City Council, and it's regarding a motion to affirm reverse the mayor's revocation of the business license of ChristNet Services. To whom it may concern, my name is Cassandra Lowe. I am the Executive Director of American House Senior Living, located at 25250 Eureka Road. We have vast concerns regarding the ChristNet Services being located right across the street from our building, where we provide housing for over 140 senior residents. Since the opening of ChristNet Services last year, we have had many disturbances from the clientele that uses the ChristNet Services. Below are just a list of some of the disturbances we have encountered. 1, there have been clients found sleeping in our vestibule of our front doors in the early morning hours. At times, Taylor Police Department had to be called. 2, trash, clothes, debris, bedding, tents, alcohol bottles, needles, etc. are often found on our property daily. Our maintenance now have to walk our property grounds several times a day. 3, clients often coming to our property to inquire if they can live here. Some coming to pretend they know people that live here just to get inside to utilize our facilities. 4, we have had to have special trainings now with all employees and especially our night employees to make sure they are being watchful of intruders on the property and how to keep themselves safe if they encounter an intruder. 5, we have often found shelters made under the trees of our property, where we have had to ask the clients to leave the property. 6, residents have found inappropriate behavior being conducted under our carports. We are at a point now where some potentials we call on to invite them to tour our community turns our offer down because they feel it is not safe in the area. We have had great concerns from some of our residents, sharing they do not feel safe in their own home now with the activity they see around our building and in the community. We understand ChristNet Services is trying to provide a much-needed service to the homeless population, but this service being right across the street from the senior community and right down the street from a school does not seem to be the most appropriate location for this service. This makes our seniors feel very unsafe in their homes. We would like for the mayor to consider revoking the business license of ChristNet Services from being right across the street from a senior living community and right down the street from the school. Thank you, Cassandra Lowe. Mr. Chairman, I have one other quick one that came in after I told you I had 2. It came in at 7:57. This is from Crystal Mackey, and she is against revocation. She just said, I would like to sign against revocation. Crystal Mackey, M-A-C-K-E-Y.
All right, and if any further come in, after we go back to the public hearing, is there any individuals that have not been allowed to speak yet before I recognize anybody that has already spoken? If you could, probably would be easiest if people want to line up, because I know we don't have the sign-in sheet.
Good evening. Thank you for having this for us. My name is Linda Dickman, and I have been involved with ChristNet for the last 28 years. I have served with many hats over the years, and served as president for 8 years. I don't want to argue this exactly, but I will tell you that one thing I want to address is the man that was very crippled in the wheelchair out in front of our business. I cannot tell you how much time we spent that afternoon trying to find a location for that man. He was totally wheelchair bound. He couldn't get out of the wheelchair even to use the restroom. And we called around and could not find anybody. Finally, at about 5 or 5:30, we got a hold of Adult Protective Services, and they said, we will be out within 2 hours. If you want to leave him outside, that is fine, because we were closed at that point in time. We left left him outside, and his decision was to leave. So we had no control over his decision. We called the services again the next day, and the same thing happened. So, I mean, I don't feel, as bad as I felt for the man, I don't feel like we were responsible for that incident. But also, the building that we're in, we purchased in 2013, and ChristNet purchased that building, and we had the approval of the city of Taylor to do so. We couldn't have owned that building without that. And I do want to say that if we had been aware of all of these complaints over the last few months, that they would have been addressed, and they wouldn't be nearly what they are today. The complaints were not brought to us. They were brought to Wayne Metro. And Wayne Metro chose because we are the tenant to not share this with us so that we could work on the solution. So I apologize for that because I think with all my heart, we would have been able to do something to lessen the problem in the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Please come forward. If you could, give me your name.
I'm sorry, I'm not signing in, I came in late. My name is Yvonne Probasine, P-R-O-B-C-I. I did sign the petition. I'm a veterinarian, I this guy's work late.
Yeah, I'm sorry, your first name?
Yvonne,
Yvonne.